I gotta take my socks off again.
Yeah.
I never remember till I'm in here and it's hot as fuck. And suddenly
we
I
need a
like
compilation.
suddenly
of
I'm
you
sweating.
taking your socks off.
Yeah. That could be the
whole
bonus
episode.
one. That could be the bonus. So just video of me taking my socks off.
I'm gonna start saving every moment that you. I gotta take my socks off. There we go. Oh, not for free.
You didn't see my feet, just my sock.
Hey, some people will still pay for that, you know?
That's why it's going to be the bonus.
Technically, you're paying for feet content.
That's the tease. There's another channel where the feet are.
wbahpodcast.com. Okay. Wow. Should we just start the episode with wbahfeet.com?
I'm okay
and
with
just
it.
See what happens.
Somebody's going to get that.
Wow.
You know what? If you feel so inclined, go buy that.
Listen, it would be almost worth it to me for funniness to just see how many people tried to visit it.
Oh, yeah.
If we act like it's a real thing, I just want to see how many. I just have a counter on it. And count unique visitors.
You're the 47th creep.
Yeah. Congrats.
Well, now we have to. Hold on, I have to write that down. We have to. I'm going to spend $15 on that. What is it? wbahfeet.com?
wbahfeet.com. Why not?
Hold on. I'm going to buy it right now.
And it's a good backup in case the podcast ever goes sideways. We got another.
Oh no.
We got another thing to do.
Oh my God. I love how you were just so willing to go along with absurdities.
Of course. Listen.
This is why we're meant to be partners.
Are you kidding me? You were willing to get wbahfeet.com. This is the best day.
Oh my God.
We, in real life, at the time of this recording, are about to go to Austin for Austin Witch Fest. By the time you guys hear it, it'll be over and done with. So sorry. Hope we saw you. But are you ready? Like, are you still getting packed and ready, such as I am?
I have like 3 more things on my to-do list. I have to print and laminate the QR codes. First, this is going to come out like a little bit late. Two things, actually. Number 1, go get your prints. They're amazing.
Yeah. They're out now, and they will only be out for a short amount of time after this.
Yep.
Along think with maybe
that
like another
ridiculous shirt.
Oh yeah.
And today, the day we're recording, is the Trans Day of Visibility. So we see and love you, homies.
Yes. And geez, I'm still having to put together, like, in my head the timeline of this, because we've decided we wanted to record this episode as well as the April Fools that we had last week. Have you heard the good news?
Have you heard it?
Because
how many people turned it off?
I don't want to know. I only want to know how many people stayed thinking, when's the episode going to start? By the time this comes out, we'll be exhausted, I think.
Yeah,
so,
which is why we're recording it now.
Yeah. So anyway, what's our topics today? I've picked one that was inspired by things we've talked about the past couple of episodes.
Oh no.
Talk about ants.
Okay. Because so am I a little bit.
Oh no!
Not ants.
Pause. Oh, okay. But what? Termites?
No. I'm just going to go into mine because I'm first. Unless you have other things we need to go over.
No, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
Okay. It's Aries season.
And you're a big ol' Aries moon.
Yeah, it's
correct?
Aries season, and I've been getting wound up lately. And I'm talking about politics and witchcraft.
Okay. All right.
So, content warning, politics, and possibly a little bit of violence, because that they seem to go hand in hand. So, witchcraft, people say, why can't you just leave politics out of everything? Why does everything have to be political? Witchcraft is political. That's why. Witches have historically been, as the majority of them are, other. They are marginalized people, like queer people, women, people of color, poor people, elderly people, anybody who gets in the way of the wealthy and the powerful who need a scapegoat. That's who witches are, and it's it's political. So I wish people didn't have to listen to things like this that they don't necessarily want to. And we will, by the way, I'm going to ask you, Charlye, since you do the editing, to put here, go forward or back in time or whatever, and put where yours starts in case people are just like, I don't want to listen to that. Okay.
I'll do that weird dub feature.
Yeah.
And I'll say, right, Charlye's segment. Skip to 2933 and
yeah.
And then we'll see what happens.
Enjoy the privilege
or we'll just
that
leave
you
it
live
as
in.
is.
Enjoy the privilege you live in that you can just skip over things.
Sure.
I'll go into that later.
I generally will say that when I say that, it's not said with hatred, because I think a big part of privilege is like recognizing that you have it. And I think so many people are so very quick to anger when someone points out their privilege because they think it's like a bad thing, you know. And they're
they think of privilege as like when you're a kid.
It's like you can do something with that, though. You know, you can you can do something with that. It's not like a we're not calling you a naughty word, you know, but
yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just something you have that someone else doesn't have.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's go back to Europe a little bit. It doesn't start in Europe. I am just starting in Europe. So witches and magical practice existed before the word Wicca, which I am guessing that's how it's pronounced, W-I-C-C-E. And that is Old English, which came from the 5th through the 11th century, between 450 and 1150 AD. And that said, magical practice has existed since ancient Mesopotamia. And in fact, the whole drowning witches thing came from the Code of Hammurabi. Do you remember hearing about that, like in school?
Yes. Yeah.
So that was in 18th century BCE. And it allowed someone accused of harmful magical practice to undergo, finger quotes, trial by ordeal. And that is jumping into a holy river. And if you drown, you're guilty. And the accuser...
Trial by ordeal is so hard.
Here's the part, though. Someone has accused Sally of witchcraft. So Sally decides, I'm going to go trial by ordeal and jump into the holy river. If Sally drowns, oops, they were guilty, and the accuser gets her stuff. If she's not, then the accuser's estate goes over to whoever Sally's family is. And if Sally doesn't have any family, oops, I guess just, oh well, oops, sorry, Sally. So if you want somebody's shit, essentially you accuse them of witchcraft.
Yeah.
And you hope
nice
they can't
PlayStation.
Swim.
Give it to me, you witch. Yeah.
So dating back to Mesopotamia and into present day, the term or the idea of what witchcraft is, as at least defined by people who are not necessarily witches, because I have heard at least 100 different definitions of what witchcraft is, because I ask that question in every episode of my podcast.
Yeah.
So witchcraft is considered, quote, the malefic use of magic against one's own people. And I believe that comes from an English historian named Ronald Hutton, who was raised pagan. He's still alive, so my tense may shift a little bit weird because of the way I wrote this. And I am glancing at my notes. So he's written a lot of books about paganism. He was raised a pagan. And some examples of those books are The Pagan Religions of the Ancient British Isles, The Triumph of the Moon, and Witches, Druids, and King Arthur. He was elected a Fellow of the Learned Society of Wales in 2011, and a Fellow of the British Academy in 2013, and appointed Gresham Professor of Divinity in 2022. This is all to give you a sort of background on what his education is. It is on this stuff. So when I am quoting him or saying, well, he said, that's who he is and that's why he is kind of an authority on the subject. He doesn't actually claim to be a pagan, though. He says, when asked, that his religious beliefs are basically his own business, and how about you mind yours? So maybe he is, maybe he isn't. It's not your business.
Yeah.
And he outlined 5 key characteristics ascribed to witches and witchcraft by most cultures that believe in the concept. So number 1, the use of magic to cause harm or misfortune to others. Number 2, it's used by the witch against their own community. Number 3, powers of witchcraft were believed to have been acquired through inheritance or initiation. Number 4, it's seen as immoral and often thought to involve communion with evil beings. And number 5, witchcraft can be thwarted by defensive magic, persuasion, intimidation, or physical punishment of the alleged witch.
Okay, so we're saying that magic and witchcraft are different things, because if you can defend against witchcraft with, what do you say, good magic?
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that's the idea, is that it's almost a semantics issue of...
Kind of, because they did accept up to a point, up until, I think, like the Maleficus, whatever it is. I don't remember the whole word. I don't remember the whole name. But that book. Something Malakaram or something like that. I don't remember. Maybe it's in my notes. I don't think it is. But so there were like the folk, quote unquote, what we would call folk witches, who did like healing and midwifery. Is that how you say it?
That's how I say it.
Okay.
Or midwifery.
Yeah. Being a midwife, that sort of like helpful thing. There were those people, and then there were the people who would curse somebody for you if you want. Okay. And they sure. Like, we're always fucking with the cows and the butter and the milk and whatnot. They were really into dairy for some reason. Yeah.
Ooh, I get it though.
Riding dudes around the countryside in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And then laughing about it. Are you tired, you dumb fucker? Yeah. How you like that milk?
Listen, I know which camp I belong in already. I'm just, if these two people, the midwives and the healers, and then the ones that put peanut butter in your hair and braid it overnight or whatever they do, if they can't be the same person, then I know which group
Me
I
too,
belong
frankly.
With. Yeah.
The fun one. I'm going riding, bitch.
The fun one. Are you kidding?
Horse girl all the way.
Yeah. It's severely different meaning. It's like when I say horse girl, this is what I mean.
And so kind of the quote unquote good witches were more tolerated for the most part, and the quote unquote bad witches were the ones that people would generally go after. Eventually they did start going after the good witches too. Mm-hmm. So where are we? Okay, in the U.S. and parts of Europe, most accused witches are or were women and the elderly, especially when in patriarchal societies.
Sure. Yeah, if you were
most, not all, most.
An old woman, you were double fucked. Yeah.
And while most European beliefs about witchcraft involve inheriting or being initiated into a magical power or practice, other places don't necessarily believe that. They feel like there are some cultures in Africa where they believe that witches are just born with this evil attached to them or inside them, no matter what that person themselves wants to do or what they believe. It's just like you got a demon in you, essentially.
Yeah. Sorry. Oops.
Yeah. And let's go into politics now. I'm mostly going to talk about the U.S. because that's where I am from. That's my experience. And that's where 80% of our listeners come from. I checked. So witches are continue to be persecuted. As recently as 2014, women accused of witchcraft have been killed in one way or another, either put to death, like officially through government means, or just flat out murdered in several countries in Africa and Asia. Here in the U.S. and in fact in Tucson, one of the most recent witch trials to happen was in 1970, the Flowing Wells High School situation. An expert in 1969, an expert on folklore and witchcraft from the University of Arizona, UA. Hey, what's up? Wildcats? I don't actually care. I just happen to know that because I live here now. Anyway, this expert on folklore and witchcraft came to Flowing Wells High School to talk to them about, I don't know, whatever they were talking about. And they included a description of physical attributes for witches that included blonde hair, a widow's peak, green or blue eyes. Charlye, you're in trouble. A preference for wearing devil's green, which is a shade between chartreuse and lime, and a pointed left ear. Show me your ear immediately.
Show me your ear.
I'm not blonde.
Not very pointed.
Little bit. Little bit.
You got the blue eyes though. You're fucked.
And then a little bit after that, students began joking with Ann Stewart, who was an English teacher with over a decade of teaching experience, about how closely she met that description. That visual description, which meets a lot of, are you kidding me? Okay, anyway. And then when they asked her if she was a witch, she said, "What do you think?" Probably in that same tone.
Sure. Yeah. I don't like where this is going. I'm scared.
So one student who was interviewed later on said that Stewart discussed witchcraft with her students, but didn't try to influence or convince students of the reality of witchcraft. She was suspended in November of 1970, within the year, after a group of parents, and I think some of her fellow teachers, signed a petition to have her removed. And it made national news. Her neighbors and friends began avoiding her, and she received death threats, like the letters that state, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." How many of you listeners have had someone say that to you? Because I've had lots of them say it to me. And what I say is, "What do you mean by that?" And then make them say it out loud. They generally delete their comment. Because guess what, bitch? I'm ACAB, but I will call the cops on you. So let's go.
Whatever I can do to fuck your shit up a little bit. Yeah.
Maybe I'll call your boss. Say you're doing death threats on the internet.
Yeah. Doing death threats on the internet would make a wild t-shirt. I'm just saying. Okay, sorry.
Write that down.
Terrible.
She started wearing an ebony cross that belonged to her great-great-grandmother, changed her hairstyle to hide her widow's peak. And she stated, "I wear it because a real witch wouldn't dare, and I want to demonstrate that I've been defamed." She fought the suspension. A judge told the school board to rehire her as they had not complied with the requisite statutory procedures for dismissing a tenured teacher. But as of February 1972, she had not been rehired, And basically everybody stopped paying attention, so nobody knows if she got her job back that I could find.
Wow. All because
she was blonde.
People just thought you might be a witch.
Yeah, because some kids told a joke, and she's like, what do you think?
Yeah.
That means yes.
Yikes.
And then we have the satanic panic in the U.S. in the 80s and 90s.
Hell yeah.
It began in the U.S. with 12,000 unsubstantiated cases of satanic ritual abuse. It started with some psychiatrists doing recovered memory therapy, which is a discredited practice claiming to uncover abuse. Some allegations, here we go. Some allegations involve a conspiracy of a global satanic cult that includes the wealthy and elite, in which children are abducted or bred for human sacrifice, pornography, and prostitution. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Mm.
Doesn't it?
Actually, my first thought was like, oh, that's disgusting. I don't like thinking about it. But now that you mention it,
it's like we've gone back in time.
Oh.
In 1994, an article in the New York Times.
My blood went cold, sorry.
In 1994, an article in the New York Times stated that of the more than 12,000 documented accusations nationwide, investigating police were not able to substantiate any allegations of organized cult abuse. Even more recently, in 2023, the police chief in Hanover, PA, sent an email to the proprietor of the Serpent's Key, Beck Lawrence, stating that he was going to send an officer over to let them know that reading tarot was against the 163-year-old law. Lawrence is currently fighting Hanover for violating our First Amendment right to freedom of religion and speech, especially since those laws were kind of based on keeping people they didn't want in town, like travelers and Roma people, getting rid of them, keeping them out of town, making it illegal for them to do anything that makes any money. And all of this
just feels like, you know those old laws that you, like in Texas, it's like you can't cross the street with a
donkey
in
on
your
your
pocket.
Head. Yeah. You can't have it more.
Shit
your
like
ice
that.
cream can't be more than 3 scoops if you're walking left on a Wednesday.
Excuse my ice cream will always be more than 3 scoops. Thank you. Yeah, I'll go to jail.
Yeah. I like all the dildo laws. I think they're funny, and also fuck off.
So funny and so telling.
Let me quote Ronald Hutton, mind your own business. Or whatever his name is. I forgot already. Anyway, all of this is to say witchcraft is political. If you're able to turn this off and find an audiobook or another podcast that doesn't get into politics and just withdraw into your own life and forget everything that's happening is happening, that is a privilege that not all of our listeners have. Some people don't have the option to turn their lives off because you can't just stop being queer. You can't stop being a person of color or autistic or trans. And you have to stay vigilant and aware if you are one of those people, if one of those things applies to you. It's their lived reality. And I'm not going to stop saying fuck ICE. I believe in vaccines and science. I'm not going to stop talking about it because those people need our support. And if you are able to turn it off, good. I'm glad somebody is, but I'm going to be here to support the people who can't.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I completely understand. There are some days where you have had it to hear and you're like, I want to put a cozy video on and I need to check out for a little bit. I understand that. I fucking get it, right? However, I do think that, this is a scary line to ride because I don't want to say everyone with a platform has I don't want to be like, everyone who has a platform, you have a responsibility to whatever, because some people don't know what to do with that, or I'm just saying, don't think that all of the people you see on social media need to be speaking about stuff. Because there's a big chance that they might not fucking know shit. But I'm saying, I think we do, and I think we have that space to do it in. And I think that there is a line to ride between I want to check out and take a break for a little bit for my, my health, and being able to do that. Again, that's a privilege, but also not expecting people to just shut up and make things comfortable for you because
just make
you would prefer to be
movies.
comfortable. Yeah.
Just sing and stop talking about it.
Yeah. Just do the Witchcraft podcast. Well, it's inherently,
Exactly.
Okay, fine. We will. We are right now because it's inherently entwined.
I feel obliged to do it because I hear silence is compliance, and I kind of agree with it. And if you can't do it, then you can't, but I can, so I am. And honestly, it is scary. And when the election went through, I was actually really scared. And for a fraction of a second, I considered not doing my podcast because I know I'm on a list now. We're on lists now. Because one, we have a voice that we use. Two, I'm a queer woman. Three, I'm a witch, and I have a podcast about witchcraft. Mm-hmm. So if I'm on the list,
far from invisible.
I'm going to get even more on the list now, I guess.
Yeah.
And for the people
who can't get taken off the list.
Exactly. So. Put me on more lists, bitch.
Yeah. Now it's a fucking game.
I guess, but
no.
I want people to feel supported. I will continue to speak out until I'm physically unable. Hopefully, I'm not even going to talk about what hopefully not. I'll continue to speak out until I am unable to. And there was a protest this past Saturday. No King's Day. I did not go because I woke up in severe hip pain in the middle of the night. And then when I went back to sleep, I overslept and missed the fucking protest. And I hate that. But one thing that struck me was there was an article on Pathos by Manny Moreno about pagans attending No King's protests. And I'm going to give you a quote by Raina Templeby, who was a priestess of the Covenant of the Goddess. And they said pagans must remain active in these non-denominational spaces of resistance if we want to ensure non-pagans will come to our aid if or when our religious rights are attacked by the state. And considering what has been said recently about the invasion of Iran by our president and by the Secretary of War, I'd say we're pretty close to having those rights attacked. They are being attacked in Pennsylvania right now, in Hanover.
Yeah. And that's exactly how it starts. It starts very small, a case here, a case there, and then avalanches. And next thing you know, so
I got into a pretty serious argument with my partner back in, when did Shitbird get elected? 2016?
Yeah.
So probably in 2015. There was a neo-Nazi march in Montana, and I fucking lost my shit. And so my partner is one of those people who thinks, oh, you're overreacting. Well, they haven't done anything. All they're doing is marching. So I pretty often hearken back to that moment now at them, which they don't love, but I don't love that I have to.
Right. Yeah.
Tell me about ants, unless you have more that you want to talk about with this.
Listen, to be sitting here in such a serious space and listen and just kind of contemplating and then to turn around and be like, let me tell you about ants.
I think it's going to be a nice relief to pull some of this pressure out of the room and off of us.
Sure.
This gross feeling of being squashed.
Yeah.
Speaking of squash, tell me about ants.
Squash and ants. Oh my God. Okay. So first of all, I grew up in a time where it was okay to commit small acts of violence, and I've already talked about accidentally mass murdering bugs, as a kid.
Yeah.
But like even in school, I remember like there was one time we had ants in like science class, and we like squished them and look at them under the microscope, and like there was one class that got I say got to. I don't mean like I'm envious of this. Let me preface. But what they had to do is put a grasshopper in the vacuum and then turned it on. So sorry, you talking about squishing ants reminded me.
Oh my gosh, that's horrific.
I know.
I was in school when we were still dissecting frogs that we had live first.
Oh, no. Ours were dead.
Ours weren't.
Did you have to kill it?
Uh-huh. They used like carbon dioxide,
sure,
or something. But
Did you know some people have to dissect cats? Yeah. I got a cousin who had to do that.
I did not.
I don't know.
We did a cow eye, but not. I stayed away from the cats, and I stayed out of the. In OTA school, there were like cadaver labs, and I called in sick every day. We had those.
Yeah,
I can't.
Human human cadaver. Oh yeah, yikes. And here's the thing: I understand it's necessary, especially if you're going into like a medical profession. But like, I was in college to eventually drop out and become a podcaster. There was no way that I needed to see cadavers. Let me tell you about ants.
Tell me.
So why ants, first of all, is we've been talking about ants for some reason so much. And I've been editing stuff to like get out on time, like while we're gone in Austin. So it feels like back to back to back. And I know as you guys listen to it, it's going to be like a week apart each time. But to me, it's just all ants all the time. Oops, all ants. And I was like, oh, that sounds fun, especially talking about ant dirt and stuff like we did in the bonus. So what people I feel will usually think about when they think about ants is a level of annoyance. They're in your kitchen when you don't want them to be. They bite you. They're kind of a blight upon your yard. But I think that there's a whole separate way that we can look at these things. And I think we can work with ants and the spirit of ants and ant dirt in a way that is both about, I don't even know. I don't like to say the positive and the negative, but like, you know what I mean? The attributes about ants that are like work, structure,
industry,
patience, industry, cooperation, collective power and strength, lifting the 10 times your own weight or whatever, right? And there's also the way to work with ants that's like the stinging and the biting and the like itchy and the annoying, So I think they're multifaceted depending on what kind of work that you want to do and what kind of vibe you are trying to evoke from them. So, they live in this really fascinating space that I think not a lot of things live within, where you get on one hand abundance and industry, like you said, and on the other hand, it's like agitation and kind of almost like can be like this baneful or gray or however you want to put it. The duality makes them just super interesting to me. I also want to say that ants were a big time special interest to me as a child. Big ant lover. Of course, I feel like I don't remember a lot of the stuff that I was like, but dude, if you sat down and talked about ants with me, I was over the moon. Brother, I wanted to be an ant. I played that game we talked about, Sim Ant, like my life fucking depended on it. I loved ants, and I still do. I think they're fascinating. Core symbolism here that I want to, when we strip everything away, we've got a teamwork and collective effort. Most ants don't work as like lone wolves. They have power within their community, their colony. And even though they are so very, very, very tiny, small, they can do tasks that are seemingly impossible for something of their size. Like you said, if you scuff that ant mound, the next day they've made like a new door or whatever. And it's like, the last time I made a door? Never. diligence and discipline. So these guys, they're constantly working, and I'm not saying like be about that hustle culture and you be constantly working, but I'm saying that they are not perceived as there's other animals or insects in this group, like roaches or flies, that even though they're doing the same thing, they're not perceived in that same way. Like, because roaches, flies, ants, these things are always constantly moving, constantly eating, reproducing. Like, they're not sloths. They're not chilling out. They're like busy all the time, right? But I think that spiritually, this makes them to be like a little bit of an underestimated power. You know what I mean? They're tiny. They can carry way more than you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they live with purpose, and even though it looks random, it is always got a purpose, and it always has something going on underneath it. And they also are incredibly resourceful. They adapt, they store food, they build emergency rooms, they respond to things going on in their environment.
Wait, did they build emergency rooms?
They build an emergency room. No.
That's so cool.
Some ants do have certain like little chambers. So, they've got like, this is the room where we keep the eggs, and this is the room where we keep the dead bodies. They like separate their dead, their little gravy grave. And this is the queen's room, and this is where we keep larvae. Like, they're super organized, and they do have, like, after they go to war, if you will, they will have certain areas where they kind of post up in this emergency room, in this little room that they are using, where other ants will come along. See, this is the special interest of me slipping out. Other ants will come along, and with their saliva, their ant saliva, they like lick. And like Edward Cullen, they've got venom in their little dirty mouths. And when they lick, it seals off this like ant that might have had its leg pulled off or whatever, right? So it like seals it off. And then that ant is basically good to get up and go back out the door and start fighting again. So they've got like nurses.
That's cool.
Or they like,
they have occupational therapies.
But they are not all hustle culture, girl boss all the time energy. Like, we have that shadow side of ants that can look like compulsive overworking, losing yourself in duty, losing individuality. I even included a crawling sense of anxiety in here, and lack of boundaries. So,
yeah,
again, that duality.
Stay out of my bed.
The ant. Yeah. Rude. Get out of my house. I do everything I can to not kill an ant. I will, like, listen, when I was a kid, I would look at the ant and I would let him bite me because I thought it was so fascinating to watch how they did it. And I would just be like, yeah, I should have been diagnosed earlier.
Oh man, all I can think of is how bad I swell up.
I think that's part of it. I do swell up, but not like super bad or anything. I'm very lucky in that way. Bugs don't do much to me. Poor fucking Macy could look at like a stinging animal
I have a picture of her
up.
foot that she sent me.
Did you ever see that?
It looked like an overproof loaf of bread.
Sourdough. If you poke it, it's gonna open. Yeah. So I totally get it if you're creeping and crawling right now, if you're not into it. So this makes ant energy very energy, because this energy can show up as get your shit together. It can show up as build something, but build it like slowly and steadily. And it can show up as there is something happening underneath the surface that needs to be dealt with. So, a lot of this ant symbolism that exists, and like I was really surprised to see. I don't know why I was surprised to see how much ant like lore is out there in the world, and like folk traditions and different things that you can do across the entire world, because everywhere has ants, you know. But so their colony structure, they live in highly organized societies. They have divisions of like labor. Different ants have different roles. So this brings about symbolism for social order, for labor systems, cooperation, shared purposes. They communicate through their pheromones, which I will never understand, but I think it's so cool. Leave the little trails that give complex signals to each other. Dude, do you ever see a line of ants walking?
Yes.
I love
into
to
my
take
fucking
my finger and right into my mouth as I sleep.
Oh my God.
Have you ever eaten ants?
Not on purpose.
Oh, gross. Hate that.
Would you like
But
it if
you've
I
never-
had meant to?
Yeah, well, you know, they like, you know, they're like a snack. Some of the larger
I haven't
ants, I
had
guess,
any
I
of
can.
those. I have
no.
never eaten bugs that I know of.
I don't think I have either. I wouldn't mind it as long as it's not juicy.
I'll bring
I'm
the
not for a juicy bug.
larvettes when we go to Austin.
Ooh,
I'm not eating
listen.
that.
Here's the thing: so much of the world's hunger could be solved
I agree.
if we had more insects.
I agree.
That said, I only want it if it's toasted and seasoned. I'm not gonna slurp an earthworm.
Ken ate a live cockroach once. I think it still has. We still have video of it on YouTube.
Listen,
it was a dare.
Oh, of course it was. All of my postulating about let's eat more bugs for the sake of world hunger, that goes down the turlet when it's about a roach, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it was
There
a
are
feeder
few
roach.
things.
It was not like your German cockroach infesting your house roach. It was a feeder specifically bred for that.
I don't care what it was. I don't care. It's gross. There are I think 2 or 3 bugs that I put aside I don't kill any life, you know. Cockroaches, dead on sight.
Mm-hmm.
Gnats, dead on sight. I'll think of something else, I'm sure. I hate gnats. Okay.
Poor Natalie. Just trying to be your friend.
Has reincarnated so many times because I murk that hoe every time I see her on site.
Mosquitoes.
Anyway. Oh, mosquitoes. Yeah, I don't like mosquitoes. Although I don't like to smack them when they're on my body because it freaks me out that they've bitten other people and I don't want their blood. It's gross. It's a whole thing. Anyway, ants.
Sorry.
Hidden language
Oh,
energy.
yeah.
That's it. They just have this code that they can use, and I like the idea of like using an ant as like a symbol of like your secret code that you're. I don't have use for a secret code, but I know it's like middle school. Me and my friend would write about, you know, like cute boys, and like we would use code, and you know, I don't know. Maybe if you're listening to this and you're in middle school and you want to talk about people, use ant code. Anyway. Ants gather resources efficiently.
That Marco this morning where you thought it was so funny now makes more sense.
What? Which one?
My secret code, and then I laughed.
Oh, yeah. You did. You were like, secret code. Oh, I'm getting red. Okay. Ants are efficient and they prepare for future scarcity, which is why they are tied to prosperity, foresight, planning ahead, work that you can do now that pays off later. When an ant is threatened, the colony will swarm. They defend their home aggressively. They defend their selves and their other ants aggressively. This ties them to protection, defensive magic, any kind of protecting of your things, your family, your friends, your home, your livelihood, your whatever.
Ants have a Taurus moon.
There you go.
And they might be, ants have an Aries moon and they might be Tauruses. But also Capricorn rising.
I was going to say, wait, I have a Taurus moon. And
Taurus sun, Aries moon, Capricorn rising.
You're an ant.
I don't have a Capricorn rising. I'm Gemini rising. That's why we're on this podcast. Holy crap. So when you used that ant dirt in that spell, that is I'm doing that from now on. Because like I said, there's the colony under my freaking property is like 2 acres.
Yeah.
Holy
the California
shit.
Fat Ass? What was it called?
California Lorge. And no,
Lorge,
that's not here. This is just my ants in my yard.
No, I know, but I just wanted to say it. Ants also have a very important ecological role. They help with decomposition, seed dispersal, soil turnover, pest control. They do eat other pests. And they're not just like random little shit-ass gnats that don't do anything. They have a job and they work hard at it. They're earth-aligned, unlike a fucking mosquito. And they are the unseen labor that helps sustain life. I have some folklore across different religions for you. Biblical associations. So ants show up in Proverbs as examples of diligence and preparation. Basically, that proverb is saying, be like an ant, stop being lazy, which I don't agree with, but that's what it says. Greek. In some Greek traditions, ants are associated with agricultural power, labor, transformation. They're also tied to stories where human or human-ish type people emerged from ant origins. Let's see, in some indigenous stories, especially, excuse me for my throat noise there, the Hopi tradition, connect ant beings with survival and underground refuge, and wisdom during catastrophe, which I think is so cool. In some traditions in African symbolism, ants are tied to weather reading, farming cycles, and preparation. Their movement can be interpreted as a sign of changing conditions, because ants live underground. They don't like to get drowned. When something's coming, they will dig deeper or migrate or move the queen. Have you ever kicked into again, as a child, kicked into an anthill and watched what they do?
Mm-hmm.
Like the first thing they do is they grab their eggs and their larvae and the things that can't move, and they move them deeper into the ground. I just think that's so cool. Depending on the context, ants can also represent material attachment in some Buddhist symbology. They can be attached to humility or the idea that something very small is still a part of the divine and something much larger. If you see ants, especially in large numbers, common spiritual interpretations. Listen here, you're seeing them in your bed all the time? This is what it could mean, Kim. Pay attention. Your home or home energy needs cleansing. Something small is accumulating into a large problem. You need more structure in your life.
Why are you attacking me specifically right now? My God.
Kim, you need to think more long term.
How dare you?
But, however, there's other symbolism. Your efforts are working, even if the progress feels tiny. Community matters more than pride right now. And irritation or conflict is building under the surface.
It's the first one.
Clean your house. Some people separate ants not into, like, there's a billion different species, like not that far, but a lot of cultures, who do like have symbolism for ants will separate them into black ants and red ants. Or in the South, regular ants and fire ants, which I know isn't true, but that's what we say. Black ants usually read as stability, money, prosperity, productivity, progress. Red ants, conflict, pain, danger, hot energy. It's not obviously a universal law. This is all from folk symbolism, but it does come up a lot. If you're dreaming of ants, they say that you are needing to connect with your work routines. What did you do?
I dropped something. I dropped one of my fidgets.
Your face. Let's see. You could be too, if you're dreaming of ants, you could be too focused on material survival. You could be being urged to create order within your life. Now, into the metaphys. This is where things get especially layered because ants show up with like practical use in magic and more symbolic use in magic. So associations with ants within the use of magic: prosperity, abundance, business growth, success through repetition, which is what I like to keep spell jars for, because I think that they're a very repetitive, very continuous energy. So work, promotions, working with promotions, anytime we have to be with people in a large structured social setting, protection of the home, defense or retaliatory workings, because ants are typically not going to go out of their way to harm you. They will on accident, if they wander into your bed and feel like they are then being the ones attacked, they will bite you. But generally, if you're kicking over their little anthill, they're going to come bite you.
Vengeance.
Vengeance. The vengeance. Let's see. Anthill dirt can be used in a very practical way within magic. It is treated as a powerful ingredient. I personally I've said I've liked recently using the anthill dirt, especially because it's spring now and you're starting to see it more and more. And for some reason, and I couldn't get to the bottom of this, a lot of ant dirt prefers that you use, when you see an anthill that's just starting to form and there's like those big crumbles of dirt. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just like the mound of sand or whatever, it's like those big crumbly parts. I could not find the reason why, but it was preferred to use that type of anthill dirt. I don't know. It combines energy of the earth. It combines the energy of the ant colony itself. It has essences of labor, defense, and boundaries. There's also some of this like maybe underworld or like below the ground energy to it. There's the ethical side of this, that if you're going to use anthill dirt, do so respectfully. Perhaps leave an offering. They love bacon. Ants love meat. Dude, what did you say in the bonus? You were like, they love meat. I'm meat.
Just be like Charlye, stick your finger down there, let them gnaw on you for a little bit.
Yeah. Get one and place them lovingly on your hand and let them bite you. Why wouldn't you do that? Now I want to get into some historical / folk practices that I saw out there. Now, could you use this today? Sure. I'm not telling you what to fucking do. However, ants traditionally used in magic would cause discord in someone's home. If you wanted to shake someone's home up a little bit, they could be used to force someone to leave, cause confusion in others, destroying the love of someone.
The love.
Those all feel, I don't know. I don't know, gray.
Destroy the love.
Love. But, well, I mean, and that's, we put some anthill dirt into our protection spell of the month. Check out our spells of the month over on patreon.com.
Not to destroy the love. I might make myself a shirt that says, with a picture of an ant that says, destroy the love.
Destroy the love. That's pretty tight. Because ants live in the earth, we have, this tunnel underground metric. You know the words I'm looking for. They consume decay. They help strip matter of the earth back. They can also be viewed as little tiny land spirits, underground messengers, death-adjacent creatures, transformers of what was dead back into what can be used again, recycle, rebirth. So labor, death, rebuilding.
They're little farmers.
They're little farmers.
They grow the little mushrooms
little
in their little underground gardens, and they like milk aphids.
That's so gross. Aphid milk. How much money would it take for you to drink a half cup of aphid milk?
Half a cup?
Yeah. Don't think about all the aphids that had to be milked.
I don't care how many. I hate aphids. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. $1 million?
500.
Half a cup?
Half a mil.
Okay. Would you get sick?
Probably. Who cares?
Yeah, probably.
Good. Then I'll just vomit out and it won't matter.
Yeah. I'll throw it up and I'll say, thanks for the 500,000, chump.
I know a folklore ant fact. Fact in quotes. So
No. You take those quotes off. It's real.
You know the word that I can't deal with that starts with P and means P? E-E?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Those kind of ants, do you know why they're called that?
Oh, like when you insult someone and call them that word.
Yeah.
Why?
So it's actually medicinal because if your healer in the mountains thought that maybe you were diabetic, they would feed you a bunch of garbage that you shouldn't have if you're diabetic, and then put your pee on an ant nest. And if the ants, because if you're a certain type of diabetic anyway, I don't remember if it's type 1 or 2, but if there's a lot of sugar in your urine, then the ants will all try to get they'll collect and eat the sugar. And if they don't, then you're not that type of diabetic because there's not all that sugar in your urine because your body processed it. And that's why they're called that. I don't know why that's an insult besides you're eating pee, but
yeah, maybe that's like you're a type of ant that would eat that.
I believe that is some Appalachian stuff, or maybe Ozark.
Interesting. Don't do this at home.
No.
See a doctor.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, if you want to pee in the ground, that's your business, but don't use it as don't say, oh, I must be diabetic now. Or not. Just go see a doctor.
Yeah, sure. There's an entity walking by my window.
I don't like
a couple of times. It's somebody outside. So ants are not glamorous. They're very like little machines, and the magic that comes from them can feel a little bit like repetition. The vigilance that comes with protection of the home or whatever, getting the job done. It's not flowery and fun, but they do their little jobs and they love it.
I've watched many a documentary on ants.
Yeah.
Like the honey ants, the ones that fill their butts full of sweet juice and just hang off the ceiling and other ants suck from them.
God, ants can be so gross. Did you ever watch that movie, Ants, the animated film?
No, because it's animated.
Allen?
Ew.
Yeah, I
Even
know.
more reason to not.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Did you ever have an ant farm?
Mm-hmm.
Tight.
It wasn't for them. I also had sea monkeys. None of that is good.
Oh, God, I loved sea monkeys.
Do you know they sold sea monkeys at Aldi recently?
Really?
And there were all these people. There were all these people at... I'm in this group, the Isle of Shame, the Aldi Isle of Shame or something like that, and a bunch of them had sea monkeys.
Dude, the way I would probably still get sea monkeys.
Me too. If I was in an Aldi and if we had Aldi in town, I would.
And they had a sea monkey, I'd scream and I'd get one.
Yep, because those freaking ads on the back of old comics made them look so fucking cool.
I thought they would actually play with balls and shit. And you could get all the little accessories. I remember I once ordered the watch, or maybe it was a necklace. I don't remember. I think it was a watch. And you would suck up your favorite sea monkey.
And then watch them become deceased as you wear them.
You put them in a thing this big that you slosh around all day.
It's fun.
Yeah. And then they put a tiny magnifying glass so you could see it up close, get fucking blasted to smithereens.
Humans are fucked.
Yeah. Humans love to look at smaller things and go, that'll be fun to kill. Yeah.
What can we do to it?
Yeah. What happens if we let it drink nothing but Dr. Pepper for a week? Yeah.
If we cut its head off, will it still be alive? Ew, it does.
It does.
Poor bugs.
There's the fact you'll learn about in kindergarten for the next,
Using, that's really cool. I'm going to be using ant magic now. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Yeah, it started with the dirt, and then in reading all of the symbolism and everything else, I was like, oh, that's sick.
I like it.
Wow.
Everybody go get your prints.
Same wavelength, I was going to say. I like getting them prints.
It is so pretty.
It is very cool. It's very cool. Lyra has inspiration behind it that is also very cool. Mm-hmm. And I need to remember to get that quote from her about the inspiration, because I hope I don't forget. But check it out. They're not going to be available much longer. It is available on a merch store, link below, all of those things. I got to get the hell out of this room.
Me too. I'm sweating like so hard.
I gotta pee, and I just
okay.
I don't want to be
Everybody
here.
Go to the merch store and get the print.
Go home.
Watch for that weird ant shirt. Okay, bye.
Oh,
we did it.